So I'm excited to have Mark Haughton here today on the Never Broke Again podcast. Mark and I met from Sunny, and that's who Mark does his podcast. What's the name of your
Yep.
podcast, Mark?
The Quantum Chosen One podcast.
The Quantum Chosen One podcast. And Mark has won the lottery several times.
Yeah.
That has all to do with his mindset, and he shows other people in the world how to change their mindset so that they don't have these mind knots, these limiting beliefs, so that they are not blocking out opportunities that could be right in front of them. So Mark's going to share a little bit about his story and how he's gotten to where he is today. So happy to have you on, Mark. And I mean, how did you discover this? I mean,
Yeah. Well, it's about the mind. The mind through quantum physics and psychology of the human brain and mind. I've been studying that. I'm into that, and I always believe that our thoughts, our emotions, they actually can influence our world, and that became evident when I started to study more about quantum physics and how reality works and how what we're actually made of. Make a long story short, I started to practice that. I started to use my mind and my focus, and I decided that I wanted a particular car. It was a Dakar yellow BMW M3, and I decided I was going to win the lottery to do it. And basically, I visualized, I used my mind, my focus, my thoughts, my attention, and it happened exactly that way. I won the lottery, bought the car, and I kept doing it again. And I realized that everything is controlled through the mind, particularly through the subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind controls our actions and our habits. And that's the secret to create our world, because the world we live in is not actually like a real physical world. It looks physical to us, but it's actually concentration of dense energy. And our actual thoughts, our feelings, and what we say affects what's called a field. It's like a quantum field. And that field will determine what we experience. Positivity, negativity, abundance, lack, any of that thing. So that's just basically in a nutshell, without getting too detailed.
right. And can someone have an abundance mindset and still go through struggles? Because it's not all just, you think about it and it happens.
Yeah. That's a great question. So someone can have an abundance mindset and they can still go through struggle. However, here's the difference though. With an abundance mindset, whatever struggle you go through, you will quickly rebound and build back up and even more.
Mm-hmm.
Without the abundance mindset, you go through struggle, you will continue to be in that cycle. It'll be hard to rebound because the mind is convinced that's what the reality is, struggle. When something is etched in our program in the unconscious mind, no matter what happens, the market crashes, you have money invested, and the market crashes out of your control, guess what? Because you have an abundance mindset, your mind is so infinite, it will find new ways for you to recoup than the other person who lost their money. So if someone lost their money, you have two individuals, one that has the abundance mindset, the subconscious is on the right track, and the other just have an intellect mind just to make money. Both of these individuals, the market crash, the one with the abundance mindset will recoup and get his money back in like less than a year. The other person may take them 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I totally agree that you could have the best mindset in the world, but whether you have rich people problems or poor people problems, there's
Hmm.
always problems.
Yeah, there's always problems. You could have you're right, you could have the abundance mindset, but if you don't take action, it's not going to work.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that I ever saw, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks and businessman, he was sitting at one of his basketball games and he
Hmm.
sold a company, and the company was actually worth $1 billion more than what he sold it for. And the
See
person
that?
came up to him and was like, hey, Mark, how do you feel about losing $1 billion? And he just looked at the person. He's like, I feel pretty good. I came here on my jet. I'm watching my team play.
Yeah,
So, I
that's
mean, is that like the mindset that you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. An abundance mindset. The thing is, look, point blank. If you want to be rich in the world, you got to be rich in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Richness starts in the mind. That point blank. You cannot be successful or abundant or wealthy or have money consistently if you have an unhealthy view of your life and your world in your head. It's just not. Yeah, you will make some stuff happen through willpower, but it's not sustainable. It's going to be inconsistent.
Mhm.
If you want consistency to grow and to keep what you have to start in the mind. And it's not just in the thoughts. Positive thoughts are a thing, but they're not the only thing that will get you. So I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, just be positive, just think positive, and the world's going to change. No, it's a lot deeper than that. Positive thoughts is an aspect towards this. The full scope is the mind that you have to get into the subconscious. You have to convince your unconscious mind that what you want is real and it's possible. And
Mhm.
it's easy to do because your subconscious believes everything is happening now. So it comes down to repetition, discipline, focus, patience, faith, and repeat that. You have to become uncomfortable and make the comfortable uncomfortable. You got to expose yourself to new things, to new ways to do things. This is how you're going to get an abundance mindset. You have to get out of your comfort zone. If you want to have that nice apartment or that money, then you have to visit those neighborhoods and walk into the shops because your subconscious can't tell the difference what is real or imagined. If you want to
Mhm.
be a successful investor, trader, or anything of that sort, you got to surround yourself with content. You got to watch things with people trading, making money. All those will impress your mind, and you have to do it over and over. That's what abundance mindset is surrounding yourself to new and inspiring materials that will program your mind to that. Because the thing about the mind is once something gets in there, it accepts it to be true.
Mhm.
It doesn't, it's not going to change. Now it's going to work to bring it into your reality because that's a subconscious thing.
Yeah, and I mean, at what point of your life did you struggle with this?
Oh, I might, in the beginning, 5 years ago, I would say I had the worst mindset. I was very egotistical, logical mind. I would always think about the worst. And then I would notice that those are the things that would happen. And I was like, man, what if I try just thinking about what's the best that could happen in my life? And I
Mhm.
disciplined myself and I started to see a change. And that's when the light bulb went off. I was like, wow, my thoughts, my feelings, and what I focus and my attention on has an aspect to my life. And I started to do it more and more. And I started to change my subconscious. And then good stuff started happening. You
Mhm.
know, the thing about your mind is you have a conscious ego mind. It's always going to look and try to figure things out. But I focus on not focusing on that because I know how it works now. In the quantum world, there's infinite potential and possibilities for things to come into your world. Particles can appear and disappear. They're at the same place at the same time. It's an infinite world there. And the same thing is with your mind, with your subconscious. So the point is, the key is I always focus. I decide what I want. I'm certain I'm going to get what I want. I don't know how or when. And that's okay because that goes into the unconscious. The problem is we try to figure out how and when we use our conscious mind. And that's where we get in trouble. But if we just decide, and the more certain you are that you're going to get what you want and be what you want, the more certain the universe is going to make it happen for you. And I
Mhm.
think that's the toughest part about this is to get your mind to buy into that.
Mhm. So, are you saying like fake it till you make it is a real thing, or is
Oh,
that
yes,
just it
that's
is?
absolutely a real thing because listen, the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what is real or imagined.
Mhm. So, like for example, if you're driving down the road and you're in a 2005 Corolla, windows don't work, AC doesn't work, nothing works, and then you see someone drive past you in a Lamborghini. I Are you saying that one person who has a negative mindset would be like, screw that guy? The other person's like can visualize themselves in the car. Is that what
All
you're
right.
saying?
Yes. I mean, I'll give you the perfect example. Look at me. Not 9 months, 9 to 11 months before I won the lottery to buy my M3. I had another car. It was like an older BMW, and I used to get in that BMW every day, and I used to superimpose that I was driving an M3. And then what I did, I took it to the next level. I took action. This is where the action comes in. I went and bought M3 stuff. I bought a steering wheel cover for a car I didn't know I was going to get for an M3 and a mats and the air freshener. And I had it in my closet for months. And then guess what happened? I won, and the same match and the same steering wheel cover went into the car.
Hmm. So for for people, it's probably easy to imagine things. Like, I can imagine myself driving a nice car. I can imagine myself
Mhm.
on a boat or living in a nice house. How do you help people imagine having a lot of money in their bank account? Because it seems like
Well,
it's a little bit of more of a
yeah.
difficult of something to construct in your mind.
The first thing is, for anyone to get this, you have to believe it's possible and that you deserve it.
Mm,
If you don't have the belief that it's possible and you deserve it, it's going to be a long haul. So that's the first requirement. So let's say if you have that, you have the belief and it's possible. The next thing you want to do is now you want to surround yourself with these things by watching them, thinking about them, visualizing them without the attachment on them. Taking action. If you want a house, go visit the house that's on the market. Look at that house. Want a car? Go to the car dealership. Look at the car you want. Put yourself in that position. Your mind will figure out the best way to get it for you. And if you be consistent and you focus on it, one day that will manifest into your world. Point blank. That's just how it is. We will always get what we expect, good or bad. That's just how it works.
hmm So let's just say someone's out there, they've saved up a good amount of money and an investment opportunity comes up, but it's all the money they have. What would
Hmm.
the abundant person do versus the non-abundant person do?
Well, of course, the abundant person is going to have some logic and common sense now. An abundant person would invest some of that money, you know, not all of it. If you're not, I mean, if you're going to have your intuition, but you'll definitely invest in it. You would invest because you're seeing that, okay, this is an opportunity for me to make more money. That's what an abundance. Now, a person with a lack mindset might figure excuses, might look like what's wrong, why it wouldn't work, why I'm not going to do it. That's a lack mindset. An abundant mindset is someone that has an open mind and are more fearless, but they take calculated risk.
hmm Right. So, like for example, let's just say I have a terrible mindset. I come to Mark.
Hmm.
Mark's you also do mindset coaching, and you tell me
Right.
what the price is, and I go, well, I don't know if I can afford that. What would you say to that person?
Well, that you would say to that person, look, you have to invest in yourself. That's the mindset. That's what you're programming your mind. You don't deserve it. You don't
hmm
say I can't afford that. You say, how can I afford that?
hmm
What would it look like to have that? That's an abundant mindset. Abundant mindset is not settling for lack and figuring out your abundant mindset is like, how can I afford that? What would it look like to have that? That's the secret to an abundant mindset. It's the way you perceive and your perception of things. That alone will carry a long way. And more, majority of people do that. They're getting like, I can't afford that. How am I going to do that? The biggest thing that you can do is invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself, you will always be abundant. Always. If you invest in someone else, you'll make them more abundant than you.
Yeah, totally. Now let's talk about winning the lottery. What was
Yeah.
that process like? You didn't just play once and win.
No, no, yeah.
Or did you?
Like I say, you have to put work into it. You have to convince your mind. And this is where the action and the work comes in. Win the lottery. It's a process. I had to visualize every night, see it. I bought my tickets daily. I created a budget, and I just continued and I persist on that. And then it happened because once you convince your mind that something is happening, it's going to run it for you and bring it into your world. So I mean, it's not really anything super. It's something that you desire, and if you can visualize, and then you do the routine, which is the action, buy the tickets, put them away, you will win. And the most important part of it, I believed and I expected, and I was certain I was going to win.
hmm And what lotto are you playing? You playing scratch off? You playing the?
Well, the lotto I won, the first one is a Fantasy 5 here in Florida, so I won the top prize. And then the other ones I do is the pick 4 or 5, where I see my own numbers and they come in. I meditate and I win those lottos, and it's you win six figures amounts. It depends on you.
Are you picking your own numbers?
Uh, yes, I pick the numbers, but these numbers come to me through like a meditation, or I use the universe, and they'll send me these numbers, and then I'll stay with them, and they'll come out. Like I said, it reality is fascinating. We haven't even scratched the surface. I mean, the things that you will experience and see, it's totally different than what you were taught and grown up and believed when we were in traditional school.
hmm Totally. So what's like the first step someone can take? Is it this
Right.
meditation? Is
No,
it
well, no, the first step someone can take is to monitor the self-talk in their head for
mhm.
about a week. Write down, and you'll see how much negativity you put on yourself. That's the first step. Analyze what's in your mind and then change it. Start to talk good about yourself. Listen to the voice in your head. You're not good. You can't do it. Change it. That's the first step. You have to become aware of what your mind is saying, because most of us have gotten used to this negative chatter in our head. We just think it's normal, but it's not normal.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously having a positive mindset is definitely key, especially getting
Yeah.
you through certain challenges that may come up, like you're driving to work and you get a nail in your tire or something
Hmm.
unexpected comes up. But other than just the mindset, Mark, what sort of action do you recommend people need to take? Because you can't just think it, you got to go out and do it. Or am I wrong?
No, the action part is when you put it in the mind and then you look for the inspired action. And inspired action will come to you in the form of intuition. I mean, an example of it, if you want to invest or become successful, then you have to do research, read, watch programs. If you want a car, like I said, go to the dealership, surround yourself, look at the car, a house. Those are actions, things you do. Be open. Uh, those are the things you do. You don't sit. This stuff doesn't work where you just sit back and meditate and it comes to you. Your mind will give you the action step. You have to research. You have to make an attempt. Those are the things you do. That's the action part. You just don't sit there. It doesn't pop into your lap.
Yeah. So what are you doing nowadays? Do you just play the lotto? Like, how are
Well,
you
I mean, yeah,
living?
I still play the lotto. Of course, I have a platform I run. I coach. I mentor. I have a YouTube channels. I have two books I have out. So I'm busy just spreading what I've learned and helping people.
Hmm. Do you have like a success story with someone that you worked with that you'd be able to share?
Oh yeah, I have tons of. The best one is I had a client I was coaching, and we were coaching for about a year, and she came to me. She's in England. She wanted to manifest a new house, and she wanted to adopt her niece at the time, and it was against her. And all that happened. She adopted the niece that the court said couldn't happen. She manifested a new flat. She started making more money. Um, she started to live in the best part of downtown London. She wanted to. She did a complete 180. It was amazing. Um, she started out. I think she was making her job. She was doing had a pretty decent job. I think she was making maybe 60, 70,000, and she went up to 120,000. Bought a
Mhm.
new place and manifested the daughter or the niece that she wanted to adopt. And she did this while I'm teaching, like visualizing, following certain steps. So it happens. It's there.
Mhm. That's super cool. So you got the quantum podcast, you got books. Like
Mhm.
where are you visualizing yourself in terms of where you are to where you're going?
Well, the thing is, right now I'm where I'm supposed to be. My goal is just to continue to just put information out, help people, spread the information, and then whatever is next for me, the universe reveals it to me. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to do right now. I'm happy. I'm
Mhm.
contented. I'm in helping people or being of service to others. That's where I'm at right now.
Gotcha. Right here on the Never Broke Again podcast. This is where we're supposed to
Yeah,
be.
exactly. Right where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I find it funny how you just randomly there's points in people's lives where they're seeking
Mhm.
opportunities
Right.
versus attracting opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
Would would you be able to shed some light on what that means in your world based on your experiences?
Yeah, seeking and attracting are one and the same thing. So when you seek something, you're going to start to attract it.
Mhm.
So nothing happens by coincidence. So when something happens, it's purpose, it's something you have to do. And that's how I look at it. So like meeting you on the podcast and everything, it's an opportunity, something you have to do, something you can learn and something you could teach me or whatever. But we all are here to learn and to pick up from each other.
Mhm. Now, would you say that sometimes you can start to attract the wrong people, or the wrong opportunities?
Oh yes, that happens. Because things happen. Remember, we have an ego, a mind, and it happens also because maybe our subconscious mind isn't online, so our own minds can put us in negative situations. That's why it's important to get your mind on track. But let's say you do have your mind on track. Would you attract the wrong circumstances? Not necessarily. You may attract. Not I wouldn't say attract, but a person, a negative person, might come into your area because remember, the dark will always seek the light. So because of your positive aura, you may attract someone that's negative, want to take or become a part of that. And that's where your intuition and your logic and your guidance system will come in to help you to do that. But it happens. There's parts of this reality that you and I can't control. I mean, I say we control about 70% of it, which is a lot.
Mhm.
And the other 30% is just things that are out of our control, other people's situations. But for the majority, we deliberately create about 70% of our world.
Mhm. So someone that potentially could be listening to this right now, they could have the right mindset, they could be doing the right actions. It hasn't manifested yet.
Exactly. And they have to stay focused and keep going and stop looking for it. Don't stop looking for results. Just expect it to happen and let it go. That's when it pops in because you don't have the resistance there.
Mhm. So how have you built that resistance to keep that out of your mind?
By being fearless, by understanding that there's nothing to be attached to. Everything just is.
Mhm.
Whatever happens, it happens. It flows, it flows. What you can't control, you don't force, you don't push or force. What you can't control, you can't control. And then when it comes down to it, there's only two things you can control: how you feel and what you think.
Mhm. How
And that
you
sets
feel
that
and
sets
what
things in
you think.
motion.
So how you feel and what you think. So if you think bad things are always going to happen to you, then you're going to feel bad, and then it's just going
And
to become a never-ending loop.
yeah, and then you'll start to attract that because vibration must seek its counterpart.
Hmm.
Everything, the universe works in harmony. It's looking for harmony. Negative harmony, positive harmony. It has to have harmony.
Hmm. Now, for this to happen, what sort of patience do people need to have?
Uh, what sort of patience? They just have to be patient with themselves and trust the process.
Hmm.
It's a process. Everything's a process. When you plant a tree or a seed, it takes time to grow. It just pops up into an apple tree.
Yeah.
So it's all about the process, trusting the process, and it's okay not to know. But it's just patience. You have to be patient.
Hmm. Yeah. Patience is a struggle for most of us.
Yep.
So, and doing all the right things and
Yeah.
just knowing that eventually that seed's going to turn into a sprout, and that sprout's going to turn into a tree, and then that tree's
Exactly.
going to bear some fruit.
100%.
So to teach people that patience, because a lot of people are going for the quick fix, the quick money, the quick, I want to lose 10 pounds. Would you say that that is a poor mindset, or just is that abundant mindset, or like a mix? Like,
No,
because a lot.
that's a lack mindset. When you're trying to do something or get something, that's lack. Because according to the universe and quantum field theory, quantum physics, you already have everything. So the mindset to have is to know it's yours, to expect it to come to you, to follow through, but not to like need or go after. I'm not telling you not to go after your goals. It's different. You can go
Mhm,
after your goals. The analogy is this: you can either work smarter or you can work harder.
mhm, totally. So like the way I understand it is like, for example, let's just say you're talking to a potential new client.
Hmm.
That client decides to go elsewhere. Some people might feel down about themselves. They're like, oh no, like I didn't get the client. While what you're saying, Mark, is someone's like, well, a more of abundant mindset is like, that wasn't the right client for me. And that's why
Yeah.
they went a different
Hmm.
direction.
Abundant mindset is every rejection is a protection. Every disappointment is for a good.
I like that. Every rejection is for a protection.
Yeah, that's an
So
abundant
if you're
mindset.
getting denied you asking out people on dates and they're saying no, and you have a good mindset,
It's a protection. Yeah,
that's the
because
universe
yeah, it's a
protecting
protection.
yourself.
Yeah, because you can remember you can't see the whole field, but your mind can. It can see all the pitfalls that you can't see ahead of you. Your subconscious, your higher mind can see. So maybe that person would do something down the line that you didn't know, so you're protected. So we're just looking here, but the mind sees the entire thing. So that's why I say you have to flow and let it go and just go with it.
Rejection is projection.
Yeah, every
Rejection is
rejection is for a
protection.
protection.
Yeah, the flow and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of our companies is 369 Financial.
Right.
So 369 in our world is growth. You always want to have a growth mindset, family, you want
Yeah.
to have strong family values, and the 9 stands for philanthropy. Where does the 369 I've seen on social media that in the manifest world, where does that fall into your manifestation techniques?
Well, 369 is about the synchronicity of the universe. It shows how everything comes in order. Every pattern comes back to 369. It's a mathematical kind of equation. Tesla used that. So it's just a symbolic measure to show that everything has a pattern, and those patterns will form those numerical numbers. 369. It's a very powerful number. So it's a symbolism. It's a synchronicity. It's an energy. It vibrates high, and it's something that individuals use in their lives to just become more vibrant and energetic, to raise what's called your attractive factor. Your attractive factor is the ability for you to be more optimistic than pessimistic.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Well, yeah, I mean, someone told me about 369 being the magic numbers of the universe.
Yeah,
I started
yeah,
looking
that's
into it,
correct.
and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of catchy too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just been rolling with it, and I feel like it's really cool that we connected. You won the lotto. You're helping
Yes,
people with
step
their
of a purpose.
mindset, and ultimately, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, Josh. Exactly.
Cool. Well, thanks for hopping on, Mark. I look forward to staying connected, and
Yes,
we'll chat soon. All right.
we'll definitely do another episode. Thank you.
All right.